Variation is brought about due to different factors. One of the most obvious ones is the genes that you inherit from your parents. Due to the process of sexual reproduction, each individual will have a random composition of genes, bringing about variation. However, some environmental factors can also bring about variation. For instance, if we have plants which are genetically identical and subject them to different conditions, such as a difference in water availability, they may not seem to be identical. The same mentality can be applied to humans. Some conditions are influenced by both the environment and genetic factors. These include height and weight. Investigations have been undertaken to see just how influential the environment is on our characteristics. It was found that the environment can have larger influences on certain characteristics and hence bring about variation. Natural selection is the process of organisms gaining an advantage over other organisms of the same species and being more likely to survive and reproduce. This competitive advantage will come from variation amongst organisms. Variations can also come about due to mutations occurring in genes. Mutations often take place during cell division, and mutations are important as they may give an organism a competitive advantage over others. This would make this organism more likely to survive. The process of natural selection is as follows. Amongst a population, there will be differences between the genotype and phenotypes of individual organisms. These differences will be due to variation. These differences in phenotypes may cause some individuals to be better suited to their environment and therefore more likely to survive than others. The individuals which survive will reproduce and pass on their advantageous alleles to their offspring. These offspring may have different phenotypes due to mutations and sexual reproduction, and this will lead to more variation. In this way, a single population of organisms can end up being very different from each other. They could eventually not be able to produce fertile offspring. This would mean a new species has been formed, and this is how natural selection can lead to forming new species. The theory of evolution by natural selection suggests that all species evolved from simple life forms billions of years ago, and that they have evolved to be more complex in this way. Mutations and changes in the environment may lead to rapid changes in a species. The mutations could give the organisms a competitive advantage. Selective breeding is when humans breed animals and plants in order to produce an organism with desired characteristics. This is not a new method and has been done for many years. To start with, someone will choose parents with desired characteristics from a population of varied genes. These two organisms are then bred. Again, the process is repeated with their offspring. Only the organisms which show the desired phenotypes will be bred again, however. This process can be repeated over many generations until the characteristic is no longer shown. Selective breeding can be used to get plants which show resistance to certain diseases, get animals with more meat on or that produce higher volumes of milk, pets with desired behaviours, and larger flowers. Despite helping to progress many industries, selective breeding does have its downsides. For instance, selective breeding reduces the variation in a given population. This is due to only organisms with certain genes being bred. This is particularly bad if there is a sudden change in the environment or a certain disease emerges. Inbreeding is another problem. Sometimes, in order to achieve better characteristics, organisms could be bred with close relatives. This leaves them more susceptible to certain diseases or genetic defects.